Alright, so the process then would look like this if we were starting from scratch. We would then do nose, and you would have all circled your nose, and then underlined here, we would do needs to knows. And the purpose of this, particularly the first time you do this with a class, if any of you tried this, I don't know if you had this experience where you go to ask what you know and you get crickets, like nobody wants to talk. So now you've primed them with some things on there that they should know. You've also primed them with things that they should need to know. So let me throw up an example in a minute. Of the one that we did for our 9/11 project based on the Ender's Game. So it's a design competition for the Speaker of the Dead, and this is related to 9/11. And then we have a whole paragraph there kind of framing where we want them to go. And this is, halfway into year 2 of PBL. So this is not what we're going to give them on the first day. And how I like to explain entry doc is you want to leave breadcrumbs for where you need the students to go. And what it looks like, the first project you do is you put down loaves of bread like this of directly leading the students to the content that you need them to get to. And as they get better at PBL, you start putting down slices of bread and you make it a little bit more challenging, difficult, and confusing. And finally you're just putting down the breadcrumbs at the end. And sometimes we often don't even use an entry doc anymore, we just use the entry event. So I'll explain the difference of those here in a minute. So this is where you as teacher have some control on where the project's going. So it's not just a project about anything. What you put in the entry doc drives what's going to go right here. And ideally, you want the needs to knows that you need, aka your standards, moving back to Common Core here, you're going to make sure that your standards are addressed in this entry doc, where you need them to go. So that's why when I showed you the Google Doc version that we often use, I put my standards right on the top of it. So when we just started the Cold War, as I mentioned yesterday, McCarthyism, they didn't know what that was, so I got a whole bunch of what's McCarthyism. So now there it is, right in our needs to knows. Perfect, just what I need you to know according to my state standards. So